So what if I told you there are some credit cards out there that will actually pay you just to hold them? That's right. There are a few select cards that have so many benefits and perks ingrained in them that you don't even have to swipe them once throughout an entire year to get surplus value above and beyond what you pay in annual fees. In this video, I'm going to focus on 9 of them and rank them from the least to the absolute most excess value that you'll get out of them just from being a card holder. Let's dive right in. Now, one note before we dive right in. I know everybody out there, you and me included, values different perks and benefits differently. That's kind of the fun in this video. As I go through, you'll be able to compare how you would use these specific cards and if it's a winner in your potential wallet. But for this video, as I go through and I break down the benefits and how much those are actually worth above and beyond the annual fee, I'm going to pretend we're considering an average traveler, somebody who goes on about 5 round-trip flights a year and then would use the benefits on the card pretty typically for a reasonable person. Just understand that your specific mileage may vary. Let's dive into the card with the least surplus value on this list. Card number 9, the Hilton Honors American Express Aspire card. This card comes in with a hefty $550 annual fee, which is a lot for the credits and benefits to start to make up for. The biggest credit right off the top is a $400 Hilton Resort credit. You get this broken down into 2 semi-annual credits, and unfortunately this credit doesn't apply to any Hilton property, just ones that are categorized as Hilton Resort properties. Now, because this is the most significant credit on this card, I'm gonna assume if you go ahead and get it for yourself, you have to plan to stay at least one Hilton Resort property each year. I'm going to assign that an average traveler can get a $200 out of the possible $400 in value. I think it's a little unrealistic to think that someone would stay at a resort property every single year in each half of the year to get that full value. You also get a possible $200 flight credit. This flight credit is broken down into $50 statement credits done quarterly, and it's a really fair and flexible credit. I'm gonna say that someone traveling 5 round trips a year is gonna get at least 75% of the possible value from this credit, so let's chalk up an extra $150 there. The card comes with a Clear Plus credit, but I'm not gonna assign that any value because I just don't think a lot of people would go out of their way to get Clear Plus if it wasn't on the card. However, the card does come with an annual free night, and I'm gonna value that at a solid $200. There's also a $100 property credit. However, this is only redeemable for a 2-night minimum at the participating Waldorf Astoria and Conrad Hotels and Resorts, which I just think most people aren't gonna visit, so I'm not gonna put any monetary benefit into that one. And last but not least, the card comes with Hilton Honors Diamond status, which does offer complimentary upgrades and free breakfast, which I think there is significant, and you could get at least $50 worth in savings from eating breakfast a couple times at the Hilton properties throughout the year. Remember, this card sets you back $550, but through those pretty reasonable credit valuations, you're gonna make $600 in value using the card in that manner. That's a positive $50 without spending on the Hilton Aspire card at all. Moving on up in valuation is card number 8. The US Bank Altitude Connect. The Altitude Connect is much simpler. The card comes with a TSA PreCheck and Global Entry credit, as well as 4 complimentary visits to Priority Pass lounges. Now, when I go to enroll in TSA PreCheck, that's a benefit that lasts for 5 years and costs me $85 if I'm paying in cash. I'm gonna break that down into the cost of 1 year of TSA PreCheck since we're looking at the 1-year value, which means that has a valuation of $17. As for 4 Priority Pass lounge visits, well, someone traveling on 5 round-trip flights a year, you're certainly going to be able to tap in and max out all of those visits. I personally value a lounge visit at about $15 every time I go in. So taking 4 visits at a full $15 valuation, that's an additional $60 there that the card is giving you. When you put those two together, I think the Altitude Connect provides about $77 in value at a $0 annual fee, which means that's pure profit back in your pocket. Card number 7 is a favorite on this channel, and I think it'll surprise you to see that it's the Capital One Venture X, and it's actually this low on the list. That goes to show 2 things. One, there are some really value-packed cards on this list still yet to come because the Venture X got bumped down so low. But secondly, part of the attraction with the Venture X is how good it can be with everyday spending and its generous multipliers. And for this video, we're assuming you don't have to spend it all on the card to see what the excess valuation is. Taking that into consideration, the card has a $395 annual fee. It gives you a $300 travel credit right off the top, which anybody should be able to use for its full value. You also get 10,000 anniversary bonus miles, which all value at $100. The card gives you unlimited lounge access. So since we're taking an average traveler's valuation with 5 round-trip flights, I'm going to assume that someone could get into about 5 priority pass lounges a year with that travel schedule, once per round trip, and we value those at $15 an entry, giving that a $75 value each year for this card. Finally, it comes with that TSA PreCheck or global entry benefit, which we already explained is valued at $17 a year. When you tally that all up, you pay for the annual fee, which is going to be $395. However, you're adding $492 in surplus value. That gets you a net profit of a solid $97 a year without having to spend a dime on your Venture X. Card number 6 is the most controversial on this list, and that's because there's such a range in how a typical person could use the credits. I like to be conservative in these estimates, so hopefully if you're getting this card, you can get even more value out of it. Let's start at the top. There's an airline incidental credit, with the catch being that you have to assign one specific airline for the entire year that can only be applied for this credit. One of the biggest use cases is baggage fees, and if you're flying 5 times a year, I'm going to say you can get 75% of the maximum $200 value of this credit, so let's give that a $150 valuation. Next up is the hotel credit. However, this is only applicable to 2-night stays at the Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts. I know that even someone who travels 5 times a year probably isn't going to get to that every single year. So I just want to put a 50% valuation on this credit. We'll give it $100. There's a $240 digital entertainment credit. Amex includes Disney+, ESPN+, Hulu+, New York Times, and a few other streaming services. I think it's reasonable that you could subscribe to any of these and get value from it, so I'm giving it the full $240 valuation. As for the next two, Clear Plus and Walmart Plus, even though some might use it, I don't think there's much surplus value here, so I'm not going to assign any dollar amount to those. There's also the controversial $100 Saks Fifth Avenue credit. This credit is divided right down the middle. $50 in the first 6 months of the year, $50 in the next 6 months of the year. I think the best way to use this is to look for clearance finds and try to max your $50 out. However, most people who have this card probably wouldn't shop at Saks Fifth Avenue anyways, so I only want to assign it 25% of the full $100 in terms of real value that you're actually getting as a benefit. We'll put a $25 valuation on that one. As for Uber Cash, it's $200 divided out monthly. I think most people with the Platinum card traveling frequently can use 3/4 of this, so we're going to assign a positive $150 out of the possible $200 it offers. There's a TSA PreCheck and global entry credit, plus $17 there. A $100 experience credit for hotels, not going to assign any valuation there. And then the Amex Platinum has lounge access, which is the most significant of any credit card. I'm going to say that someone doing 5 round trips a year could visit 8 lounges just because of how widespread the Amex lounge access is, and at $15 a visit, that's a $120 valuation. When you put all of these benefits together, I'm calculating $802 in value every single year. Now, when you take the $695 annual fee out of that, it is a big hit, but you still end with a net profit of $107. Entering the top 5 is a much simpler credit card, and this is the World of Hyatt card. It has one real benefit, and that's a free night stay at any World of Hyatt property categorized between a 1 and a 4. To give you a real example of this, you could stay at the Hyatt Regency in Seattle, which is a beautiful property with weekend stays ranging from about $225 to $275. Hyatt categorizes this as a Category 4 property, meaning it's within that free night certificate that you get, and I'm going to assign a $225 value to this. You also get complimentary Discover status, which does have a few basic benefits. However, not enough to move the needle forward for me. So we're only going to count the category 1 to 4 credit as your positive valuation. And given that the World of Hyatt card has a $95 annual fee, you're going to end with a net profit of $130 a year. Let's look next at one of my favorite value airline cards, the United Explorer card. The United Explorer card starts you off with 2 passes to United clubs. You already know that this can absolutely be hit if you're traveling 5 times a year, and I like to give those passes a $15 valuation each time, so $30 there. It comes with a great benefit of your first check bag free. Now, there and back for 5 round trips a year, well, that's gonna add up quickly. A standard United bag fee is $35, and this is where so much of the benefit of having this card comes in. That's a savings of $350. You also get TSA PreCheck and Global Entry, one of the most common credits on every travel credit card, and we value that at $17 a year. There's some other small perks and benefits on this card that will enhance your flying experience, but nothing that has a real monetary valuation in my opinion. That being said, it's still such a good card. With a $95 annual fee and what I calculate as being $397 in additional perks and benefits, you're coming out with a profit of $302 a year. Let's pivot back to the hotel side and look at one of the most underrated hotel cards out there today. This is the IHG One Rewards Premier credit card with a $95 annual fee and tons of realistic perks and benefits that, if used correctly, pack incredible value. Let's start with the annual free night. You're able to get an annual free night at any property that's worth 40,000 points. Now this can of course vary wildly from property to property what 40K points could get you. But you could safely say $250 is fair if you're getting good valuation at a nicer property. Holding this card, you also have the option to book a 4th night free. If you're booking an award stay for 4 different nights and you've got the credit card, well, your 4th night just became free. For some people, this may not work, but for someone traveling an average amount and any longer trip you may take, this could come into play. Again, I value that room being worth $250, but of course, depending on your mileage, you may get more or a little bit less value out of this yourself. There's a TSA PreCheck credit, plus $17, and $50 in United Travel Bank cash, which you should be able to get the full value from. Put all of that together, and this card returns $567 in value. Yes, you do have to commit to IHG properties, but if you weren't willing to do that, you wouldn't be looking at the card in the first place. With a $99 annual fee and that much value, you're gonna profit $468 each year. Card number 2 is the Alaska Airlines Visa Signature Card. This card's signature benefit is the $99 companion fare. Now we're gonna break the rules slightly for this video, but I think you'll see that it makes common sense. Most of the time, unless you get a unique sign-up bonus offer with the Alaska Airlines credit card, you have to spend $6,000 on the card before you can unlock the $99 companion fare. This is a one-time benefit that you can purchase a companion ticket that will only cost $99 plus taxes and fees. Now, doing some quick research shows that the average cost of an airline ticket in the US today is about $382.25. Say you book that ticket and you use the companion fee, so that's only a $99 charge. Well, you're saving $283 right there. This card also comes with the valuable perk of your first check bag free, flying 5 round trips a year, and paying $35 for a bag fee. Otherwise, that saves you $350 in baggage fees. Put all that together and you're getting $633 in value from just a $95 annual fee card. That's a positive $538 a year in value. Card number 1 on this list is a must-get card in my future credit card roadmap. Unfortunately, I don't have it yet, but I can still appreciate how valuable it is for people who do have the Delta SkyMiles Platinum card from American Express. This card holds a $350 annual fee. The signature benefit is an annual companion ticket that kicks in after 1 year holding the card. We already showed the average cost of an airline ticket being about $283, so that's the value we'll assign here. You get your first check bag free as well with this card. That's $350 in value. A TSA PreCheck or Global Entry credit, $17 in value. A $150 Delta Stays credit, which is a credit I feel most travelers would be able to use absolutely no problem. We'll assign the full value of that credit to this card. You also have a $120 Resi credit broken down monthly, and I know that most cities don't have Resi restaurants and most people won't go out of their way to use this, but I think you could visit 4 Resi restaurants at any point during the year, so let's assign $40 in value there. You also get $120 in rideshare credits broken up monthly, so let's give that a 50% value as well, considering an average traveler uses rideshare maybe about every other month. $60 to that credit. When you total all of these up, it comes to a clean $900 in positive value. Again, without swiping the card one single time. That's pretty crazy. When you take that against the $350 annual fee, well, that nets you a positive $550 in value each year. I think now you can see why I get so excited about the potential that the SkyMiles Platinum holds. Now, I want to recognize that all of these cards can be incredible for the right person and right situation. So let me know down below if you've gotten some extreme value from these, because I'd love to hear about it.